Classic Plus could happen anytime now. Guys, I talked about this already. I told you guys the day that Blizzard takes Classic Plus seriously, we will start to see private servers getting taken down at a rapid rate. And what are we seeing now? Private servers being taken down at a rapid rate. We saw the lawsuit with Turtle WoW. We just saw yesterday a bunch of other private servers getting taken down. That means Classic Plus is just around the corner. Let's see why Classic Plus will be here soon. Probably next year? Maybe. Let's see what Solheim Gaming has to say. Oh, it's muted. Hold on. Hold on. Scuff stream. It's muted. Unmute the tab. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Classic Plus. This is something people have been wanting for a long time now, and I believe that it's time for Blizzard to actually make something and announce it, if they haven't even started working on it yet.
Oh, they've started.
I'm Solheim, and I'm currently making a video here on Classic Plus. It is something that I and many other people have been talking about for a couple of weeks now, and the thing is, we've been asking for Classic Plus for years. It has actually been years now, and the closest we have gotten is a couple of hints where Agrand and Holly has said Classic with a plus in like their...
Season of Discovery was the closest we probably gotten to a Classic Plus, and people have asked in comments when I've mentioned, I'm not a Classic Andy. I'm not like a big, I need Classic Plus in my life. I'm fine with retail. I play retail. It's fine. I enjoy The War Within so far. It's been good, and I think Midnight's going to be cool. But what is Classic Plus when people ask? It's essentially the classic version of WoW, but you build on it from there. You don't iterate on it expansion-wise. You don't add all new, maybe you could add a new talent or something there, but essentially you keep the classic skeleton. You don't iterate on it from there, and you just add new zones, new dungeons, new raids, new stories. But everything stays in what is considered to be the classic, archetype. So maybe, you could get an Emerald Dream in Classic Plus, but it's Emerald Dream style. Or you get like a new, you could get a new continent or a new island or whatever, but it remains in the classic style, essentially, where everything's a little bit harder in the open world. You could be playing, you could be leveling up, but essentially you keep kind of the same class storylines, the same class play styles and everything. So that's what it is. It's Classic Plus. You're building on top of the classic skeleton, but you're not adding anything iterative like you do with expansions.
Announcement of Season of Discovery and things is like their first hint towards something Classic Plus like. Now, the one biggest step that we have got
classic gameplay with new shit to do. Yeah,
Classic
good.
Plus development is a lawsuit against Turtle WoW, a server that many people consider to be the best version of Classic Plus at the moment. So the first step we have in a direction towards Classic Plus is taking down Classic Plus. And to me, that is straight up dumb, because if they, let's just assume they win the lawsuit, which they might, and they probably will, by the way, another server pops back up, or Torta can send the files to somebody else, or even relaunch it from Russia. And you get Dino WoW.
It's different. It's different. And I have a whole video explaining why the Turtle WoW oversees the Russia shit, all that. It's very complicated, and I broke down the whole... I'm not going to break it down again. I broke it down in another whole video. You can go see it if you want to. All the legalese behind the entire thing. What they're going to do, essentially, is kneecap the shit out of Turtle WoW until they can't stand on their own 2 feet anymore. They're going to hit it in every way, shape, or form possible all around the world where they can hit it, and essentially it's going to make it very hard to access anything that has to do with Turtle WoW, even if they still have that random server sitting with a guy in a server room in Russia where he's drinking vodka and just making sure that the thing is fanned properly. That's fine. Maybe they could do that. Otherwise, Turtle WoW is going to be eliminated, essentially, and so are all the other private servers. The reason why I don't think this shit's going to continue on anymore is they are not just issuing takedown notices for these things or cease and desist orders. They're going after the people personally. They are criminally charging these people. They are attacking the people, summoning them to court. They are putting jail time on the line for these people. Like, you're talking about essentially attacking the people personally. And that's why this shit's not going to happen anymore, because now people are going to be afraid, for one, to make a private server. They're going to be worried about the consequences of doing so. And Blizzard's making an example now of anybody who makes a private server. So while you'll still have the one-offs and all that shit, anytime this shit gets maybe popular in any way, shape, or form, people are going to get scared and take them down. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, the Rico Suave, exactly.
Tortoise WoW, Squirtle WoW, I don't know, just like any knockoff instead of Turtle WoW. And then we have the whole same problem going over again. Or let's say they take it down completely. We still have Ascension. We still
Jail
have...
time? Hell no. I mean, they use the RICO Act against Turtle WoW. They're essentially saying that they're like running like a gang, right? It's organized crime. They're making money off of this shit. Yeah, you could get in pretty big trouble for that.
Warmane. That's right, I named them. We also have Epoch, Bronzebeard. There are so many other alternatives out there that people will flock to. You take one down, 2 or 3 more emerges instantly. Before I keep on rambling, by the way, I do stream live on Kick pretty much every single day, so please consider following me on Kick. Me and Hammerdance and a couple of other people are trying to build a Classic WoW community over on Kick, so please consider making an account and follow the Classic WoW people.
A Kick Classic WoW community.
Over on Kick. The link to my Kick will be down below.
That's funny.
So once again, consider throwing me a follow. Either way, Classic Plus.
That shouldn't be toxic at all.
Like I just said, the first step Blizzard has taken in something remotely looking like them developing Classic Plus, even though they might be working on it now behind closed doors, in which case please announce something, because at the moment people literally think that you're going to work, drinking coffee and going home. Nobody is thinking you're developing anything. People have been expecting Classic Plus for a long time, because for the last 6 years, what have we gotten? We have had Classic WoW, Season of Mastery, which was basically Classic WoW, plus some minor adjustments that somebody could make in a day, by the way, just hire an intern and make them do something for a day or a week, and they could have made that. We had Season of Discovery, which, granted, that was kind of amazing, but that is the one big development we've had. We had official hardcore servers, but think about it. How much development time do you think that took? Adding a hardcore mode. If you think about Turtle, they have hardcore mode, they have the board leveling challenge, they have so many different leveling challenges.
Look, Turtle WoW's done a lot of great things, for sure. They've added a lot of cool stuff to the game, and they've maybe inspired Blizzard to do some of this stuff, who knows. But for people to say that they should stay alive because they've created a better version of the game than Blizzard, at the end of the day, they still use Blizzard's foundation. That would be like somebody saying like, this guy came in and he stole my home, but he added a second story on it, so I think he should keep it. Yeah, he actually made my home better. So, I mean, if the guy who used to own the home wasn't willing to add a second story and this guy came along and added a second story here, I think he deserves to keep the entire home. That's what essentially you're saying by doing that. So, I mean, they still stole the foundation. Now, when I said, by the way, they're going to get jail time and stuff like that, that's highly unlikely. Even under the RICO lawsuit, they're mostly going to hit him with hefty fines and stuff like that. It's going to be a civil charge, not a criminal one. The only way they can really hit him with criminal one is if they can say, like, they defrauded, right? Like, acted as if they were Blizzard and took money from people. That would be a tough one to prove. But all in all, what they're doing is they're destroying Turtle WoW from the ground, okay? They're going after their servers, their linked servers in Europe. They're going after their website takedowns, their Discords, anything that has to do with American-held assets, PayPal accounts, stuff like that. They're taking them away. So Turtle WoW is going to get completely handicapped. And then you got all the other private servers that operate in America. Those are easy. Takedown notices, you're gone. And then criminal charges, or I should say civil charges against the people who held them up, which means hefty fines. So, I mean, shit, you're going to be broke as shit if you try to operate a private server. That's what I'm saying, that these things are going to be deterred from now on. If you're willing to open up a private server, put yourself out there and potentially face hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines, I think you should find a new hobby. Maybe you might be a bit too passionate about Classic WoW.
The one we have gotten in Classic WoW is a hardcore mode, and that's it. Then we have
Empty Lawyer Threat Classic.
Just a relaunch of what we have had in the past. Cataclysm, they said themselves they have the files for, so they just re-put the files in. Mist of Pandaria as well, and they're literally following the same release schedule as they did back in the day with the same files, and they're fixing the same bugs at the same time. The bugs we had at OG Mist of Pandaria launch, we had in MoP Classic, and they got fixed after 2 weeks back in OG Pandaria. They got fixed after 2 weeks now as well. So it seems like they're copy-pasting that one to the point where the bugs that were still active back then are still active right now, and they're being fixed in the same time span now that they were back then. Because they're just copy-pasting the same patches, the same bug fixes, and literally everything.
They are. That's copyright.
I really do believe that Blizzard should do something here and announce something, because when your first real biggest step towards Classic Plus is taking away the one really good option that people have right now to play Classic Plus, that leaves an incredibly sour taste in people's mouth. And sure, I've seen people say Blizzard is in their right to do this.
It is.
Sure, they are. Does that mean that they should? Just because you can do something, should you do that? If I go through some comments right now on my video, I can go through some
yeah, you should. You should. Copyright law and an IP and patent law and all that stuff, it requires you to. You have to protect your IP for it to remain protectable. If you just let people intentionally infringe on it, then eventually you lose your right to protect it. So yeah, they should and they will. And that's why they're doing what they're doing. Now, the whole thing about classic servers, classic plus servers, I'll be honest, I think a lot of people who play these private servers don't want to pay for WoW too. Like, a lot of them will, put up a front that they like to play it because it's more fun than the actual game itself. But there's also the side where a lot of people play it because it's free to play. It's a free-to-play version of World of Warcraft, so they're going to jump in and play it, and they don't want to pay a sub. That's fine. Now you're going to have to pay a sub to play Classic Plus or any version of Classic that you miss so much and love so dearly. So at the end of the day, all these things, all these private servers, Blizzard can't directly compete with them, even if they made an exact version of Turtle WoW, right? Where it's like, oh, we offer everything Turtle WoW offers, come play the official version. How could they compete with a free version of the game? It's free. At the end of the day, you're just undercutting themselves by letting somebody steal their IP. So of course they're going to take it down, and they should take it down.
On Hammer Dance's videos, a bunch of classic WoW videos. Even Saryu reacted to this as well yesterday in a video. Well, this video comes out in a couple of days, so either way, a bunch of big YouTubers. I'm not calling myself a big one, but people that are way bigger than me as well when it comes to content creation, they have talked about this topic.
Wait a minute. What was that? Oh, I thought that was me. I thought that was me for a second. I was like, I don't remember commenting on this video.
The comment sections are always the same. I have to actively moderate my comment sections sometimes, just because they're talking a little bit too harshly about Blizzard, and using words you probably shouldn't use. But the whole comment section is filled.
Yeah.
95% plus of people.
If I've learned anything about posting any video about Classic Plus, or I should say private servers for that matter, is that the private server community is extremely toxic. Now, I'm sure I'm only getting like a vocal minority. I'm sure there's a lot of nice people that play classic private servers, and they're just, nice people to be around, not that toxic. But my God, the toxic people that came out and downvoted the shit out of my video, holy crap! And then the comments they left, oh, they were fiending. They were very angry.
Hating on Blizzard, actively trying to boycott Blizzard, and saying, well, now I'm just more enticed or incentivized to actually play Turtle and give them donations, because they would rather give their money to Turtle to help them in this case instead of Blizzard. It is like, sure, they are in their right to do this, they can do this, but just because you can do something, should you actually do it?
Yeah, I explained earlier why you should.
They have damaged their reputation so much right now with the entire Classic Plus audience. And like I tried to say earlier in the video here, they can take down Turtle.
It's not the entire Classic Plus audience. I still think most people, if you ask them, most WoW players would like to see Classic Plus come to fruition in the game. No real WoW player is going to tell you, I don't want Blizzard to make a Classic Plus, I'd rather play a private server. No. Of course not. You want to see an official version of this game come out. If you really love World of Warcraft, you want to see the company that made it come out with the content that you've been asking for, which is a Classic Plus. I don't understand this argument at all. And to say they're ruining their reputation, no, they're not. They're cutting out a free-to-play version, illegal free-to-play version of their game, as they should.
And another Turtle copy simply respawns under the name
Sam,
of
React content is IP theft. No, it's not. No, it's not. I can get into the nuances of it, but it's not IP theft.
Turtle WoW, Dino WoW, you name it. It's going to be a copy-paste with a different name, or people are just going to go play Epoch, Bronzebeard, Ascension, Warmane, you name it, right? There's so many other alternatives that people are just going to play also. They can't take it all down. They can try, but they can take one down, and another one respawns pretty much instantly. The best way...
good luck with that. Well, by the way, once these cases all settle out and things go down the way they're going to go down, if anyone actually tries to, fight against this, it's all going to set a precedent. So, I mean, say these guys get fined, especially the ones here in America, say they get fined, whatever, a couple $100,000. Now everybody knows, including the courts, that the next time somebody launches a private server, it's an instant, like, it's such a case closed, such an easy thing for Blizzard. Literally, you're writing a check to Blizzard if you do that shit at that point. So once all these cases, they're making an example of it, and now the word's going to get out, hey, by the way, you want to start a private server, it's going to cost you $700,000 if you get caught as the person who did it. I don't think they're going to happen anymore. I don't. Unless some degen overseas does it, it's just not going to be, they're not going to be the same quality, and then Blizzard's going to do the same thing they're doing to Turtle WoW. Their websites, their Discord, their PayPals, their everything is just going to get taken down.
Yeah. To compete with these servers is to make a
hyper-spawning servers.
And in their own lawsuit, they try to call Turtle WoW an inferior product. I'm not so sure about that one, because sure, Blizzard tried to say that people play here because it's free and inferior. I don't think
there's a lot of people that
really
do
cares about it being free or not.
No, that's not true. There's a lot of people who play Turtle WoW because it's free. I guarantee it. A shit ton of people who play it because it's free. There is no doubt in my mind. And Turtle WoW, by the way, has like pay stuff that you can pay. They have like an in-game currency or something that you can buy. You can actually buy things for Turtle WoW, which is another reason why they're getting in so much trouble, because now they're making money off of a product that they stole. But second of all, no, the free-to-play aspect of it, I guarantee you Turtle WoW's numbers would be cut in more than half if they suddenly created a monthly sub that you had to pay for to access it. Yeah, the free-to-play thing is a big part of this.
People just want to play what they have been asking for. Classic Plus,
I was one of them.
For this now for years.
I don't blame you, Gold.
Years,
it's
and
free.
Blizzard hasn't even acknowledged our want for it. It's a whole you think you do but you don't, all over again. Because back then as well, we were not just ignored but actively spat on. In this case, we haven't been spat on just yet. I guess the lawsuit was kind of a spit on, but they haven't really acknowledged Classic Plus yet, or even talked about it being, well, in development. They have said they're cooking in the kitchen, but how do we know what they're cooking on? Are they cooking Warlords of Draenor Plus? Is it Legion Classic? Is it a new season?
It's definitely Classic Plus.
Classic
okay?
Plus?
It's Classic
Why
Plus.
not keep your customer base involved in the process? I used to love it back in the days when Blizzard would just communicate and talk to us about what they have done. There was like really long...
Well, they're not ready to say it yet. Like, I'm not a Blizzard bootlick or anything, but some of these comments are like, what is he even talking about? Legion Remix is a great example right now. They drop it on the PTR, they got a bunch of feedback, and they corrected everything based on that feedback. They don't have to get feedback from you before they're even ready to launch a playable alpha test version of the game. What is he talking about? There's going to be a time for feedback and iteration. It's just not there yet.
Blog posts from back in the day, I think this was actual Classic development, where they talked about what.
And by the way, they've taken surveys on this already about what people want out of Classic Plus. They've done plenty of surveys out there in the community, so they are already taking feedback technically.
Had done that week on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, just a bunch of posts talking about design philosophy and what they have added and stuff like that. I miss those times of communicating. Now, what I have talked about so far has only really been to build up to the main discussion point that I want to have in this video, and that is the fact that Blizzard should respond to all of the criticism they're getting right now by announcing Classic Plus and giving us a playable version as soon as possible. And I see a bunch of time spans being thrown out there. It could be announced at BlizzCon 2026, then come out at 2027. That is most likely the realist scenario, I think. But I'm here to sip on some...
If he wants to talk about PR, again, I think most people who legitimately want a Classic Plus that they'd be willing to pay $15 a month for are not going to care about the private servers being taken down. So I don't think an announcement needs to be made for PR purposes. And again, I don't think they're ready for it yet. And they had to do this, by the way. The legal process, everybody knows, takes forever because, lawyers are bloodsuckers. They want to siphon all the money they can out of you. Fuck them lawyers. But this whole thing's going to take forever for it to actually settle out. What they're trying to do is get ahead of it, get these servers taken down so they can, when they're ready, make their announcement. And that announcement will come, for sure.
Copium and Hopium, and talk about an alternative thing they can do. They can give us Classic Plus in 3 months from now, or even 2 months. And how, do you ask? Well, number one, they might have been cooking on it behind the scenes for a couple of months now, ever since closing Season of Discovery.
They've been working on it.
What have they done after Season of Discovery? They gave us Pandaria, which took basically no development time whatsoever, took barely anything at all, And after that, they haven't really given us anything in Pandaria either, have they? They gave us the new raid, which they somehow managed to launch every single raid at the wrong time. They launched them way before, and then people went and did the raids and then got banned for doing content that Blizzard happened to put out sooner than they should have. So even in Pandaria, they can't even launch that correctly.
By the way, that's always a dick move. When Blizzard bans people for doing shit that they shouldn't have been released, basically a bug in the game, and people, I always think that's kind of a dick move on Blizzard's part to ban people for shit. Sometimes it's there's a bug in the game, and yeah, it's Blizzard's fault for putting it in there. They just got to fix it. As I feel like sometimes they're a bit heavy on the ban hammer for bugs.
But yeah, what have they done? They have released some raids in Pandaria, they gave us Celestial Dungeons, and they have applied the same bug fixes now that they did back in the day. Surely, they're doing more at work here. They're working on something. And the reason why I personally believe that Classic Plus could come out in 3 months, even realistically, is that they can use many of the assets that they had from Season of Discovery. I'm not saying use everything. I don't even want to have the...
No, Season of Discovery, I agree, was a playtest for Classic Plus, no doubt. But there's no shot that Classic Plus will be here in 3 months. They're going to most likely... They're having a BlizzCon next year that's already been announced. That's where they're going to announce Classic Plus, no doubt. They'll announce Classic Plus at BlizzCon. You'll see, then testing will begin, shortly thereafter, maybe a couple months later. And maybe some live playtesting at BlizzCon with all the creators except Samiccus because he's not a real creator. And that shit will go down. That's how they'll do it. I think that's when we're going to get the announcement. And then the thing will actually launch maybe the next year, early the next year or something.
Class runes, but the class runes could, for example, be taken away from being runes to being actual class abilities, and instead of doing a quest to get a rune,
Classic Plus Mobile Edition,
to learn an ability permanently, and you never have to do that quest again. And instead of, like what happened in the Season of Discovery to me, was we simply had too many runes. What if every single class has to go through a total of 5 quests, or 5 quest chains, to get 5 new abilities, and that is their Classic Plus. So you get 5 new abilities or talents or like passives that they didn't have back in the days. Like Paladins could get Crusader Strike.
Yeah, they probably will.
Taunt. They could get a new seal, right? Like seal.
You could even see new abilities for sure. You could even see new classes added like Death Knights, they are, or Demon Hunters, but in a classic version. Right, so I mean, I love playing Death Knight, and it's one reason why I don't enjoy Classic that much is because I do want to play Death Knight still, and it doesn't exist in the Classic version of the game. So yeah, certainly talents, I agree. Things like that, classes for sure, they could be added as well.
Of blood or something, I don't know, like, those are 3 new abilities right there that would make Paladins insane.
Monks,
by default.
maybe.
And Boomkins could get a new ability, they can get some passives to help them with mana and DPS increases. Shadow Priest could get their mana battery effect from the TBC and Wrath. There's so many things they can do here.
There's a lot they can do.
We don't need to have 30 runes again. Just give us 5 abilities per class and lock those behind class quests that you get access to at level 10, level 20, level 30, level 40, I don't know. And then also, give us some new content, but you don't have to go overboard. You don't have to give us everything Turtle WoW has right now at the same time. Turtle has been around for 8 years, and they are consistently adding content on a year-by-year, or even multiple times a year basis. So, Classic Plus to me, you could literally give us some abilities from Season of Discovery. Instead of having runes, just have the abilities. Give us Karazhan Crypts as well from Season of Discovery, absolutely. The Scarlet Enclave raid at some point, and also the dungeon we had in...
I talked about this in another video. There's plenty of content that was never released with Classic originally, that was meant to be released with Classic. So we saw the Emerald Dream stuff that Blizzard already built out, tons of other isles and continents and things, not continents, but continent additions that Blizzard meant to have in Classic Plus or Classic Original that was never there. So the content's already there. And yes, they've play tested some of these new raids and stuff in Season of Discovery. So I think it'd be an easy iteration for them. I bet you they already got like 2-3 years worth of content that could have been in original vanilla WoW that they could bake into the pipeline of Classic Plus.
Not Ashara, but in the one we had in Fellwood, and also the one we had in Ashmore.
Amani Trolls, maybe.
And then they can also work on 1 more or 2 more dungeons to give us 1 leveling. 1 or 2 dungeons for the end game, and work on 1 or 2 more zones that we can also do while leveling. In this case, they can take the zones that Turtle WoW has done and make them their own. They don't just shouldn't just copy and paste, but do some adjustments to make it their own product. And by doing this, they don't have to do that much development. They can once again pull a bunch of assets from Season of Discovery. All of the class runes can now be class abilities. We can take the dungeons that they gave us in Season of Discovery and add those to Classic Plus. Maybe adjust them a little bit to make them slightly quote-unquote better and give us, well, more content. And don't go overboard. The whole thing for me about Classic Plus is that it's a version of the game that Blizzard should keep developing pretty much forever. But you don't have to give us a major patch every half year. You can give us a patch that only gives us 2 new dungeons, and that would be lovely. Or give us a patch with 2 new leveling dungeons and a new endgame dungeon, just the same way Turtle WoW has done. You don't need to give us a new raid tier every single patch. It doesn't have to be a complete overhaul.
I mean, the content cadence in and of itself for a Classic Plus could be slower, because things take a little bit longer. Leveling takes a little bit longer. Everything is more drawn out in the Classic version of the game. So, yeah, they could certainly, release content at a slower pace for a Classic Plus. No doubt about that. Just do everything Turtle WoW did, right? Yeah, there's a lot of glazing over the Turtle WoW creators, and at the end of the day, look, I mean, Turtle WoW, they did do some cool stuff, but the reason why they didn't create their own game from the ground up is because it's hard to do. Yeah, believe it or not, I mean, this is the same issue a lot of American companies have with, like, China. Right, China, a lot of times they will take your base, all the research and development you did, all the groundwork development you did, which is the most expensive part of creating a new product, whether it's WoW or anything else, and they'll just take that and build off of it, right? So they essentially get to skip all of that money spent, all those hours put in and everything else, and just work on the iteration at the end game. So, I mean, yeah, as much as the Turtle WoW team was talented, they weren't good enough to build their own game, clearly, because they never did it. So I think putting your faith a little bit in the Blizzard team to create some good Classic Plus content, I think they should be able to do it. I do. Yeah, Blizzard fucked up along the way a bunch of times in the game, for sure. A lot of weird shit going on in retail from time to time. But overall, I think they'll do a good job with Classic Plus. I do. I think they'll be able to make this a good game for people who actually want it.
Single patch. It is just simply adding more and more content.
China's just doing React videos in a way.
Over time.
Right.
We don't have to have the ultimate Classic Plus at launch. Just to give us something, and then keep giving us more and more things over time. Keep developing, and listen to player feedback. Alternatively, if Blizzard really wants to give us the best experience by adding as much as they can also hamstring our leveling the same way they did in Season of Discovery, but instead of capping it out at level 25, let's do it level 1 to 30, and then level 30 to 50, and then level 50 to 60.
Why?
That way we can level from level 1 to 30 in a Classic Plus environment, and while we are doing that, you guys, aka Blizzard, can work on the level 30 to level 50 zones and make those into Classic Plus as well. And then when you think those are ready, give them to us and cap us at level 50, while you guys work on the level 50 to 60 content. That way you are able to once again give us Classic Plus way earlier than otherwise, and you can keep developing the game while we also get to play the game. And at the same time, we can give you feedback while we are playing in that same environment.
I don't know why he's playing with the level caps. I mean, I understand he's time gating the level caps the way they did in Season of Discovery, but Season of Discovery it's a different thing. Whatever. The whole thing. Sam's not going to play Classic Plus. This is true, I'm not, but that doesn't mean this isn't important to the overall health of the game. I know you guys were mentioning different sub fees for Classic version versus retail version. The truth is, if Classic Plus does really good, people are paying the same sub that you do for retail. At the end of the day, it's really good for the overall health of World of Warcraft as an entire community and as a game if a lot of people are subbed. And whether they're playing Classic Plus or retail doesn't matter. It just matters that the game overall is in a healthy spot and you got a lot of people paying for it.
I feel like there's so many options.
Wow, Game Pass when?
Here that allows them to launch Classic Plus really, really soon. and I simply don't know why they have to keep edging us. Because so far they've edged us for
Hill, thank you for the follow.
2+ years.
Welcome to our
People are
Scourge.
demanding Classic Plus and asking for Classic Plus, and Season of Discovery was great. But by default, it was called Season of Discovery. When you hear Season, you know that it's ending, and
it's temporary.
That kind of disincentivizes you from putting your time in.
Sure.
And that is so...
Kind of like a private server. Kind of like a private server, right? I mean, that didn't de-incentivize people from playing that shit. Oh, wait, they still played it because it was free. Yeah, we're right back. Everything's a big circle here.
Antithetical to what Classic Plus is. Classic Plus is meant to be horizontal progression or vertical progression.
You had to know it was going to end eventually as a private server.
It's meant to be like, so if you take a break, you can come back in a year, and your progress and your time is still valuable, and you don't feel super left behind. If you played Season of Discovery for 3 months, and then took a year break, the season was over. You came back and it was dead. Everyone was level 60, you were level 40. That is not what we want. Classic Plus, we want our time to be valued. Season of Discovery, the gameplay was great, but...
So you want a game that continues on forever, it's always iterated on, new stuff comes out for it all the time, and there's always a reason to play. So he wants to play retail? Is that what he's saying? I get people like the flavor of Classic, and they like the way the gameplay works and everything. I totally understand that. The vanilla version of World of Warcraft, still, to me, one of the best leveling experiences in an MMO that's ever been done. I understand the appeal to it. I do, and the nostalgia for it. And a Classic Plus would give you the iterative version of retail where there's something always around the corner, but in the Classic version. I totally understand. I'm just fucking with this guy a little bit. But at the same time, some of these points kind of irk me. Where, like, you wanted to play a game that doesn't end, and you're playing on a private server? Come on. And yes, Season of Discovery, of course, was going to have an end.
By it being a season and the way it was made... If
Classic
you played
retail,
for 3 months and took a 1-year break and came back, the game was nigh unrecognizable. And that is not Classic Plus. So while the gameplay was great, the whole idea behind the season itself was so anti-Classic Plus to me. And yeah,
it was a test for
Classic
Classic Plus, that's what it was.
Plus at any moment now. They just have to do it correctly. And it shouldn't really be that difficult. I don't know, at this point I feel like they're pigeonholing Classic Plus for no reason at all. They are just holding it back because they can.
No, they want to build a version of Classic that is iterative, that continues on for years to come. That's why it's taking them a long time. They're not just... they don't have Classic Plus done, and they're just holding it back for no reason. What is going on here? I feel like I'm in a fever dream.
Either way, that's been a long video so far about me talking about Classic Plus. The thing is, Blizzard could add this at any moment, they just have to do it correctly. And please, start listening to your player base. Even right now, the whole lawsuit versus Turtle WoW, even though you can do this, you probably shouldn't have it due to the unrepairable damage you have caused to a bunch of people. And sure, you can say that the people playing on those servers were never interested in Blizzard anyway. Well, if Blizzard offered a good product, people would try it out, but now they are way less likely.
Except it's not free.
To Either way, I think the whole situation is kind of funny and also very interesting. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Follow me on Kick for more ranting and more daily content. Follow me here as well on YouTube. Click the subscribe button and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below while you're down there.
I still like the video.
Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you again in the next video very soon.
Jesus Christ. I mean, my head hurts. I still like the video because it took him time. You know, he putting out his content out there. Whether or not I agree with it, I always, I like the video because he took the time to make it. So there's that. And I don't know, man. The whole private server community to me is still a fraction of the real WoW player base. They are not a representation of WoW players for the most part. A lot of them are just people that just want to play the game for free. I'm telling you, that's a big thing. If you want to prove me wrong, attach the sub to a Turtle WoW and see if their numbers don't get frickin' taken down 80% from what they currently are. I guarantee they would. Classic Plus, Blizzard doesn't have to announce shit. They're not ready to yet. They're going to at BlizzCon, guarantee it. They're ramping up. They're getting ready. There will be player feedback time. An alpha version, beta version, those will come out. They'll take feedback like they have most recently and everything else they've done. And Classic Plus will eventually come out. And I think it will be a really good product for people who've been waiting for it, for sure. Overall, fine video, I guess, from Solheim Gaming. Never watched one from him. Interesting.